Welcome back to 360 Success Podcast. I'm your host, and today we're talking about a concept that flips the usual definition of freedom upside down. Discipline is freedom. Yeah, I know at first it sounds backwards, right? Most people think discipline means restrictions or routines or rigid schedules. Freedom, on the other hand, sounds like choice, flexibility, and fun. But what if the opposite is true? Let's talk about everyday life. You ever notice how people chase freedom? They want financial freedom, they want time freedom, creative freedom, but somehow they end up trapped. They end up trapped in debt and stress, unhealthy habits, and chaotic schedules. See, lack of structure feels good in the moment. Just want to do anything I want to do whenever I want to do it. The problem is that leads to chaos later. True freedom, the kind that lasts, comes from discipline. It comes from having margins or boundaries, if you will. Here's the paradox. Discipline creates the freedom you think shortcuts will give you. When you discipline your finances, you get the freedom to say yes to opportunities. When you discipline your body, you get the freedom of energy. When you discipline your time, you get the freedom of actually enjoying it. So yes, discipline looks restrictive from the outside, but from the inside, it's powerful and it's liberating. Let's go a little deeper. Discipline isn't just physical, it's emotional. That may be the hardest kind, actually. It's the pause before reacting. It's choosing calm over chaos, or it's choosing perspective over panic. When you master emotional discipline, no one controls you, not circumstances, not people, not your own impulses. That's real freedom. You stop being a prisoner of feelings and you start being the architect of your response. And that's what emotional self-leadership looks like. Let's talk time. Here's the universal truth. Your structure determines your freedom. People who resist structure usually say, I just go with the flow. You know anybody like that? But that flow almost leads to lost time. You know what really goes with the flow? Like leaves and trash in the gutter. They end up going down the drain. Structure doesn't confine, it clarifies. It creates room for what matters most. You want more creative free time? Schedule it. You want more family time? Protect it with boundaries. Freedom without order is just noise. Okay, so how do you build discipline? We've talked about this before, but here's how. You start with something small and you make it sacred. You protect it. Pick one area where discipline has been missing. Define that one small daily action that restores it. Guard it like it's sacred because it is. When you keep a promise to yourself, even a tiny one, your brain starts to rewire for confidence and control. And those micro disciplines, they compound. Soon the areas you used to struggle in become strengths. I know sometimes it seems hard to even start a small discipline, but if you'll make small habits of doing things differently, doing the things, it's like the saying goes, doing the things that people don't want to do so you can do all the things you ever wanted to do. If you take nothing else from today's episode, take this truth. Freedom without discipline turns to chaos. Discipline without freedom turns into control. But when you combine them, that's where mastery lives. Discipline gives you control. Control gives you options, and options will give you freedom. It's not about making life rigid. It's about making life intentional. And that's what true success sounds like. Thanks for tuning in to 360 Success Podcast. If today's message hit home, share it with someone who's been confusing chaos with freedom. Remind them structure sets you free. And remember, success isn't built in spurts of motivation. It's built in patterns of discipline. We will see you next week.